Welcome, everyone, to today's ILTA SVP webinar, all about Litera's activities at ILTACON 23, which is coming up so quick. It's like less than 2 weeks away. Oh my goodness. My name is Sherry Capel. I'm evangelist here at Litera, and I am joined by Amber. Amber, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amber Van Mosner. I'm the Director of Corporate Marketing at Litera.
Well, let's go ahead and talk through a couple of housekeeping items here. First, do know that this session today is confidential to the Litera customer community. We encourage you to share the information you learn here with your colleagues, however, not outside your organization. Thank you so much for joining us. Equally, understand that all of you are muted at the moment. This session is scheduled to last 60 minutes. Throughout the entire session, you can enter questions and answer, and we can answer. Please type all of those questions into that area throughout the session. We'll both answer them in line as well. For anything we can't get to, we'll send you an email after the broadcast. This session is going to be recorded, so you will get a copy of you'll get a link to the webinar sent to you via that same email. Thank you. All right, we're going to get to our agenda for the day. You can't imagine the talent and the experts that are here with me today on this webinar. First, what we're going to do is we're going to hear, in fact, from the two ILTACON co-chairs, Scott David and Rodney Mullins. We're excited about that. Then we're going to give you a preview of all of the ILTACON session and events that Litera is either hosting or participating in, volunteering in around ILTACON 2023. And then we, throughout this session, are going to ask you for some feedback. The last one, which we want you to be thinking about, because we'll present it at the end, what are your tips for getting the most out of an ILTACON? Some of you are you've been there a lot, so you have a lot of great tips and tricks, and we'd love for you to share them with the rest of the attendees. So with that, we're going to start our very first poll, and Kim is going to cue that up. Of those of you who are here today, who's going to be attending ILTACON 2023? And you can just click in the poll and vote. We'll let that be open for just a second, and then we're going to get to see how many of you will have the opportunity to visit with while we're there. Okay. Kim, I think we are ready to see the results. Oops. Can we share the results or no? Oh, awesome. Nearly 80% of you are going to be there. So we're going to see you. For those of you who can't make it this year, don't worry, because next month in a webinar, we're going to do actually a wrap up of ILTACON 2023. So let's keep going. I'm going to hand this over now to Amber. Oh,
hi,
sorry.
everyone. We're actually handing it to Scott and Rodney.
Slides, right. So very sorry. So I get to queue up our co-chairs, Rodney Mullins and Scott David, who are going to tell you what to expect with all they've done to put together ILTACON 2023.
Hi, so I'm Scott David. I'm the Director of Legal Project Management and Process Improvement at Voorhees in Columbus, Ohio. And more importantly for this webinar, I am one of the co-chairs along with Rodney. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Rodney Mullins, a Senior Manager of Software Planning and Development with McGuire Woods Law Firm.
So we're going to hit on a couple of different topics here about ILTACON. And the first one we're going to talk about is some things that are new. So we both have some ideas on that. And the first one I'll share with you is there's actually a session that starts at 2 p.m. on Sunday, sort of before the official conference starts, about overcoming imposter syndrome is the title. And it's a new thing. We have never had anything that early in the afternoon before. The cool thing about it is it really will help with people who have a little bit of trepidation about networking, which is a huge part of the conference, and we'll get to that later in more detail. But the cool thing is it goes into one of our other new things, which is right after that, we have something called block parties. We call them a lot of different names before, but this one is block parties. We got 7 different groupings of people that is kind of grouped by job role generally, or kind of interest. And that they're just open 1-hour sessions for networking. And so it's kind of like a great 1-2 punch there. The other thing I wanna mention is there is something by a company called Click, K-L-I-K, that is this new wearable technology that's gonna make it easier for us to exchange contact information with people we want to. So I haven't yet tried it out, but I'm really excited to give it a try. And definitely cool new tech is something that's a big part of all kind of technology conferences. So I'm excited about that. And finally, I have one little other thing. For those of you who've been coming to conference for a long time, you might remember a musical band called Legal Bites, and they're actually going to be playing just before the Monday keynote. So they're not brand new, but they haven't been not around for a while, so they're new this year. And Rodney, I think you had a couple other things to mention too.
Yeah, so so also on Monday, we're bringing back the affinity group meetups and receptions. That's going to take place, I think, on around 6 p.m. In the Dolphin building. So we've got that, and then we also have a couple of leadership sessions. We heard some of the feedback we received from 2022 was that people wanted to have courses that actually taught them different things about building their leadership skills. And so we've sort of fit a lot of those into our week for this year. So something for everyone in most of the time slots. We hope everyone will come out and enjoy the actual event itself.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And that's a good lead into timely content. So this year, more than last year, we have we have to start our planning well in advance. And we have had a great cycle of planning. We had a record number of ideas submitted at the beginning of the year, and it led to a record number of speaker applications. So we really had a hard job to try to narrow down the best speakers for the best sessions. But we did that. And in addition, we also had more sessions that we started to plan a little bit later in the cycle. So we started in May. So we've got some really, really timely information that's going to be very exciting for everybody. So stay tuned for that. And Rodney, you want to take some other things about our content that we have?
Yeah, so I think there are a couple of other items here, but I think for us, we were very fortunate as we were going about planning the conference this year that generative AI became one of the hot topics. And so you will see a lot of content associated to that, be it Copilot or other products that are also being shared with you at the conference. So, if you get an opportunity to take a look at the explosion of OpenAI, the breakthrough of generative AI software, this is going to be the best conference for doing that. So again, we want you, hopefully you've had an opportunity to take a look at the agenda and you've marked those sessions because you've got a lot of great content coming at you.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think we really got lucky with our timing of the conference and sort of the generative AI boom. I think that's going to be great. Networking throughout the conference. This conference, if you have not been there before, though a lot of you I think have, if you haven't been there before, it's just, while it's a lot about learning, obviously, it's also about networking and learning from other attendees. And we have sessions that are specific networking events, but we also really focused on having formats for our education sessions that take advantage of the world of being in person. And related to that, we'll get you networking opportunities within those sessions to meet other people who quite obviously have the same interest as you because they're coming to the same session. So you're going to get a chance to meet some of those people, interact with them, as well as learning from the speakers. So that's something that's really cool and new for this year's conference. And Rodney, I think you've got some other stuff too.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's covered throughout the agenda, the schedule. We've got specific conference networking opportunities on Sunday, Monday, and even Thursday afternoon. You'll notice in the agenda, we've got during some of the lunch breaks, we have specific networking opportunity. So again, we're really stressing that as an opportunity for the attendees, because we know that that is the power of the ILTACON conference itself, is our networking, our peer networking. So we want to continue that that thrust so that everyone can find the right people to connect with during that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all, Rodney and I and the rest of the planning team are very excited to meet all of you, and we look forward to seeing you in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sherry, I think you're the hostess here, so take us away.
So I'll queue up this next poll, which is what topics of the five of the topics that you're going to ILTACON to hear and be educated about, these 5 focus areas, which are you most interested in attending this year? Wow, you all put together, by the way, Rodney and Scott, just some of the greatest tracks of education I have seen, and I've been to a lot of ILTACONs. This is awesome. So go ahead and make your votes, and then we can queue them up. Are we ready? I'll queue it up here in just a second. Awesome. Okay. It looks like information strategy is winning with our audience, and IT operations. Obviously, those things are undergoing some major shifts, so this is exciting. All right, then. I think right now I get to toss it over to Amber to introduce our next
Sorry, we have
session.
one more poll because there were so many session topics. We couldn't fit them into one poll. So what is your second most interested area for the second poll?
That's true. There are so many different areas of focus. This is very rich. We couldn't put them all in one poll. I think this is the practice run, Amber, for everyone trying to choose which sessions they'll attend. Always competing. We want to attend them all. Okay. AI wins the day. Rodney, you predicted it.
Not surprising.
Not surprising, no. Okay, so Amber, you take it away.
Great. So we have a lot of great sessions coming up at ILTACON. I wanted to give everyone a quick overview of our corporate update, which we hope everyone will attend. It is Tuesday, August 22nd at 3:30 p.m. in the Yacht and Beach Grand Harbor Ballroom. We've had a really transformative year at Litera. For those of you who attend these webinars regularly, you've seen a lot of the changes we've made to our products, our customer support. So Sherelle is going to walk through this year of transformative changes and how we've really been driven by a North Star of communication, quality, and innovation. We're also going to show an exclusive look at our new generative AI products that you will not be able to see anywhere else. The folks who are sitting in the Yacht and Beach Grand Harbor Ballroom will be the first to see these products. So we really hope you attend. We also have a special gift for the first 200 attendees. So we hope that you're excited to see us walk through these new products and our strategy. I'm going to throw now to Julia Satov, who has 2 sessions at ILTACON that she's going to review.
Thank you, Amber, and thank you all for hosting, and Scott and Rodney as well. This is quite a wonderful opportunity to have you here. Good afternoon, good evening, all. My name is Julia Satov, Director of Diversity and Inclusion at Litera. And the very first one, as you can see here, fostering excellence. Listen, the face of D&I has transformed, definitely in the last 10 years. In this transformation, it's become part of competitive intelligence. I talk a lot about that in various avenues, and also organizational excellence. So joined by fellow panelists Chris Boyd and Maribel Rivera, we share 3 distinct case studies on how we leverage D&I initiatives in a different way to drive, learn, and improve team and talent communities, engagement, and performance. So featured in DEI Litera's portion is the importance of psychological safety. And we're hearing this. This is I mean, it's not a new concept, but I've noticed that this has really become under a bit of focus and driving force. And this is really interesting to be able to pick up and how we've approached that. It's a fundamental piece in how how D&I initiatives are mobilized. So some teasers: explore understanding your talent economy, talent as capital, and why North Stars need DEI lighthouses. This session is interactive from opening till end. It includes a working session with your table mates, which is great, and takeaway. So this is not your average old school D&I session. So I'm really looking forward to seeing people there. Thank you. And the next one, which I am so pleased, I'll talk a little bit about, just opening this up, is innovation and sustained growth. Hopefully that piques everybody's interest, because that's where we're all at, regardless of industry. So innovation and sustained growth is top of mind for attendees. Innovation and sustained growth needs engaged, long-term, bold and courageous talent. And this requires psychological safety. But do employees value it, feel its influence, or agree with the investment in us asking? And that's the one step, right? What is of value within this psychological safety initiative that's driving, that's actually the key driver for your organization, and the engagement of company, talent in your company according to that climate and culture. And every company has their own climate and culture. We were elated to qualify by the ILTA Planning Committee to be featured among other esteemed peers in various industries, with a deeper dive into understanding our talent and talent communities through a PSI case study. This is dovetailing off of Google's Project Aristotle in 2008. So trying to be really, trailblazing the way we look at things. We asked ourselves, is this of value, and took it as a case study. Survey and focus group follow-up provided insights in how a PE-backed M&A legal tech global company's talent values. What do they value the most, and how we have to approach and address retention and engagement with our talent, starting with trust and safety. So I'm hoping that sounds really exciting. There's a lot on this page to be able to read, and if you even spend, obviously, hopefully through the visual, but even a half a minute with me, you'll realize that this is such passionate work that we're doing here, and also passionate work for me. So I hope to see you all there, and thank you for the time that I get to share that with you.
Thanks so much, Julia. Now I'm going to introduce Ashley.
Thanks, Amber. Hi, everyone. I am Ashley Gibbs. I am the Director of Product Advisors at Litera. I am very excited, very honored to be one of 4 facilitators on collaborative problem solving for experience management. The reason I'm so excited is because I think the format that we're approaching with this session is both unique, but it's also going to be really beneficial to the audience members. So just a quick backstory: myself and 3 absolute experts in the industry around experience management, we took to our networks, we went out to LinkedIn, and we ultimately crowdsourced from our potential audience members what they wanted to hear about, what they wanted to talk about. We said, hey, if you're about to embark on this journey, if you're in the middle of this journey, if you've come off this journey and you have a lot of knowledge, or you wish you could sort of redo things, what do you want to hear about? What do you want to share, and what do you want to learn? So, taking those topics of focus, we are going to have our groups split up into 4 subgroups that really kind of represent the various journey milestones of a firm-wide experience management project. Within them, we will act as sort of coaches and prompts to engage and start conversation. But at the end of the day, it's really going to be our participants that drive this session, that share their learnings, their victories, their challenges, what have you. So why should you attend? And I was thinking about this, and quite honestly, I don't necessarily know this has to be so focused on experience management, because really any firm-wide, more technical implementation where you need to learn the various strategies of the journey you're going to go through. So, I mean, just check it out. It doesn't have to be experience management specific. But really, you're going to benefit from each other. You're going to get to be the voice. Another reason to be excited about this: there will be no FOMO. No fear of missing out. We have reserved time at the end of the session for all groups to share back learnings with each other. So if you walk in that room and you think, oh, well, I don't know, I feel like I could really learn from here, but this is coming up next and I want to go there, doesn't matter. Go to where you either want to contribute the most or where you can learn the most, because at the end of the day, we're going to bring it all back in. And it's funny, Scott and Rodney, as you were really sort of drilling in this idea of networking, that's the biggest reason to come this session, is because you are going to connect with old friends, meet new friends, and really you're going to have this support system within your peers coming out of the session to go forward, conquer this project and others. Can't wait to see you Thursday at 1:30.
Great, and Ashley has generously offered to walk us through Barry and Tina's slides, who could not be here today.
As if anyone in this call knows Barry, you know I'm not about to do this justice, so I'm not going to. But it's really fitting that I'm presenting this on his behalf, because Barry is one of my mentors. And this program, Building Leadership and Mentorship Programs, Barry is going to be one of the moderators. Attendees are going to learn how to build and manage and lead teams in the law firm environment, which we all know can tend to be a bit unique. So attendees are going to benefit from 2 industry leaders to share their real world experiences. I think they're going to be getting really transparent about not just the victories, but the challenges as well, as we know we can all benefit from. And the discussion is going to include intentional leadership development, career progression, mentorship. I'm hoping I can sneak in this session. You should be excited to join, because it's going to kick off with TED type talks, and who doesn't love that? Again, this is going to be focused on being interactive. It's going to be audience driven, and you're going to get to have very practical takeaways when you leave the room at noon on Wednesday and go to lunch. And then finally, my amazing colleague, Tina Harkins, is going to be one of 5 panelists where we're going to get into the room and understand sort of the journey and the best practices around getting Microsoft Teams up and running and integrated in the legal environment. A huge bulk of us on this call, I'm going to assume, probably spend about 10 hours a day in Microsoft Teams. So what better way to come forward, listen to folks that have been there, done that, and can share out the way to do it as part of the session. So you should be excited to join because you're going to have those best practices around information architecture, governance, collaboration, client matter specific work. I am so proud and honored to be able to present amongst all these colleagues. And I really love the theme, which is going to be that audience-driven participation. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I'm just going to quickly cover what Litera is doing at ILTACON this year. You will find us at booth 301. We're right by that first entrance there. We have a lot going on at the booth. We are doing a welcome reception on the 21st. We will have canned cocktails. We have tailgate food. We will have Litera koozies. Throughout the rest of the conference, we have our litigator stuffed animal. If anyone like me is taking things home for their kids, definitely stop by. We'll also have our Litera socks, screen cleaners, portable fans, and some snacks and coffee every day. As a reminder, we will have a Popple Smart Business Card for the first 200 attendees at Sherelle's corporate update session, so make sure you get there early for that. We're also doing something new this year. We're calling it our AI Passport. We'll be handing them out at the booth, and if you complete a certain number of activities with Litera in the Passport, you're entered in to win a VR headset. So make sure you grab your Passport at the booth. This is what our booth looks like this year. We have a little demo theater, which we're really excited about. And we're gonna have a lot of live programming at the booth. So make sure you stop by and check out the schedule. We'll be finalizing it in the coming week, but we're gonna have a lot of great presentations. You can see demos on your own time in a pod, or you can check out the programming in the demo theater, speak with subject matter experts, see real-time demos and ask questions. And then if you really want to deep dive into Litera's new products, you can book a demo in one of our demo rooms. I think that Kim can drop a link there for how to request a demo, but that will really give you that FaceTime with our subject matter experts. You can really ask all the questions and decide what technology is the right fit for you and your firm. We are also throwing a big digital AI Dreamland party at the View. And Kim, if you could drop the link to register, that's open to anyone. So if you'd like to attend, please RSVP, and we'll be excited to see you at the View on August 22nd at 7:30. And for our final poll, as we get into our Q&A, how many times have you attended ILTACON? So this is where we're getting into our recommendations. So just drop, after you complete the poll, maybe drop into the question section what your tips and tricks are for surviving ILTACON. I have never been. This will be my first ILTACON, so I would appreciate all the tips and tricks that you have for how you survive ILTACON. Give it another minute there. All right, Kim, how are we looking on those results? Oh, it's a good mix. I won't be the only one attending for the first time.
So the thing that we all know, having been to ILTACON before, is that the most important people for you to reach out to and walk up to and to welcome are those who are wearing the ribbons that say they are a first-time attendee. So Amber, you'll be wearing one.
Yes.
Everyone go meet Amber. But again, those are the ones that we always want to give tips to. So on that note, a great segue to sharing the ILTACON tips and tricks. May I jump in with one, Amber?
Absolutely.
So everyone knows to bring comfortable shoes, but what often is missed is that you need to bring multiple pairs of comfortable shoes. Because if you wear the same pair all week, trying to conserve on your suitcase or minimize your guilt of overpacking, it really won't help you, because your feet will hurt just from wearing those same shoes and them rubbing in all the same places. So bring as many shoes as your suitcase can fit.
That's a great tip. Anyone else want to drop into the Q&A their tips for ILTACON or anything you're excited to see? Any questions you have for Scott, Rodney, Sherry? While we're waiting, I'm curious, Sherry, what your thoughts are on how to choose the best sessions for you. How do you juggle that schedule?
It is difficult, and I think it is, and yet I also appreciate how the planning committee for ILTACON this year, the way they laid out the conference very early on, and you could see, so maybe what you do is you have certain colleagues that go to one session, you go to another one, and then you all kind of bring your ideas together. But there is also a flip to that coin. If it is a topic that is at the top of a strategic initiative at your firm, you all go to the same session because you're going to come away with different perspectives, and it's really going to benefit your team when you get back. There are certain sessions that will not be recorded. So if that is something you're interested in, you attend that one. And then the sessions that do have recordings, you can listen to those after the fact. But I don't know, Rodney, how else do you do it? I mean, flipping a coin is certainly not scientific or strategic. So
I think you've hit them all. I mean, honestly, you have to identify what you want, what you want to do, what your goal and purpose is. And one of the things I always do is I go through and identify all the people I want to meet. And so if they're speaking at specific sessions, I'll put that session down as something that I would like to attend, and so I'll end up going to that. The other thing, Scott and I talk about this all the time, is take advantage of the actual schedule spreadsheet, the application that's going to be released, and go in and actually assign those to your calendar so that you won't forget. A lot of times people, they won't go through that whole process, and you can get carried away with doing a whole bunch of different things while at conferences. So you want to take advantage of some of the technology that they're providing that allows you to track those different things.
Yeah,
That's a great tip.
Rodney, and I agree with everything that's been said. I got a couple more things to add. Almost every session is recorded, but a few are not. And if it's not recorded, it'll be very obvious in the app that it's not. So that might steer you towards going to that in person. We mentioned about formats. Certain formats are just going to work far better to go versus listen to the recording. And then the other thing, and you guys kind of hit on it, Litera and many other people would love to meet with attendees and schedule those in advance and figure those out. So you're not trying to plan it last minute and not able to get a time that works for you. I would put that in as part of your planning for the conference. And the other thing that kind of relates to some of your slides is you've got a lot of great swag, and so do other people. And bring a bag for that, and make sure you got room in your luggage to take it home, because otherwise you're kind of shipping it, which isn't as fun.
That's a great point. We do have bags this year too, so you won't need a bag, but you will need room in your luggage.
That's perfect.
I spent $75 my first conference, $75 to ship back things.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple questions and a couple tips that I want to make sure we get to. Someone asked if we're doing demos of Upper Sigma because they're looking to do a CRM landscape review. We absolutely will be doing those. We dropped a link in the chat to schedule a demo, so I would suggest doing that. We're going to be highlighting how Upper Sigma really integrates beautifully with Foundation and Concept and our new partnership with ClientSense. So you'll definitely want to check that out at the demo booth, and would highly suggest booking a demo in advance. So we definitely have space for you in our private rooms. A couple tips that I want to share. Don't try to hang at the after parties. I hear that. ILTACON starts bright and early. Someone else said, even though it's hot outside, the rooms can be cold. Bring a sweatshirt or a sweater. In case of rain, a spare pair of shoes could be handy if one gets wet. Always have a backup session. That's a good one. If your session is full, try to think of where else you want to go. And then someone asked, oh, not a question, just know in advance that you will not be able to attend every session you want and visit every vendor you want and meet all the people you'd like to. Pace yourself. I think that's great advice generally. And we have a question for Scott and Rodney. Someone wants to know how you can tell which sessions are recorded.
So it should be very clear in the app when you click on the session if it's not recorded. Otherwise, assume that they all are. And I think, Rodney, we're somewhere at like 90+% recordings.
That's correct.
All right. Well, thank you for all of your tips and your questions. Just a reminder, if you are a Litera customer, these are the best contacts for customer support and adoption. So just want to throw those out there for everyone as a reminder. And Sherry, do you want to talk about what's coming up after ILTACON?
Sure. So each month, as often as we can get on the schedule, we are presenting a webinar to the ILTA community. The next one is on September 13th at noon, and it's going to be sort of our wrap up, what our observations were, what some of the themes were that we heard, the common questions people asked, and how we've directed them in terms of either our products or other things amongst the legal tech ecosystem. And then we'll have a next one, we'll pick back up on the transition series that we began prior 2 webinars ago. And it's about your transition to Litera Create, coming from another Create solution or one of our legacy ones. And then on the 8th of November, we'll do Upper Sigma and how you can transition to Upper Sigma, that CRM landscape question that someone asked. So we've got some great programming coming up ahead.
Thanks, Sherry. All right. Thank you everyone for attending today. I think this was a great session. I'm so excited for ILTACON. Really appreciate all of you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Scott and Rodney, so much for joining us today. And all of
Thank you.
All righty. Bye.